Hey guys, welcome back to Coding Adda, and my name is Aditya. And in this video, we are going to understand and we are going to actually create a project wherein we will be trying to automate the entire process of Readme creation. Okay, and yeah, let's see how this project goes. Yeah, without any further delay, let's get into the computer screen and let's start with this project. So there is one YAML file that I have. What this particular thing does is every minute, sorry, not every day. Every minute, this workflow runs a Node.js script. This script fetches your GitHub stats and blog post, and it writes a fresh README with the live data. If the README is changed, it auto commits and pushes into it. You never have to manually update your README again. This is obviously a one-time setup because we have to add this file, generate this particular script, and also have workflow permissions to read and write your permissions. Okay. So before moving here, let's go into settings, actions, settings, then we'll go to actions and then general, and then there is a permission settings, read and write repositories. Okay, I'll just say this. Okay, now that we have actions over here, let us first understand what this action looks like. Auto update readme. I want to run it every minute. Okay, for now, just for the example, I am just trying to run it every minute. So every minute it will run, it will check for a repository, or if it will check for a blog present, and then it will update it. So this is the schedule that I give. The cron job set for is hours, minutes, seconds, and also the time. For, let's say, I just keep it as every minute. Okay, also whenever you update the script, this should run. Okay, here we can even specify the path of this particular file. If you remember the project where we are creating a second brain, you would remember that we had written that the path would be knowledge slash star, meaning everything inside, if the knowledge folder changes, every file or even a small change is made in the knowledge folder, please call this GitHub action. Also allow manually from the GitHub UI. These are the jobs that we have. Run on Ubuntu latest, permission of the content to write needed so that workflow can commit back to the repo. The first is obviously checkout. Second, set up Node.js, run the README generator script. Here we are taking the GitHub token, which is auto provided, GitHub username from the repository owner, and then we are running the script node generate readme.js. Check if the README actually changed. Here we are doing a git diff to check if the README has changed. If it has changed, we say GitHub has, README is already up to date, nothing to commit. Else, README has a new content, we will commit. And then commit and push the changes into GitHub. It will auto push the changes, okay, using GitHub Actions bot. Okay. Now, this is the script that we have. We are firstly configuring the changes for our GitHub user and GitHub repository. We have the username as URL29, repository name as this. We are having the blog URL, the HashNode URL that we are giving. Next, we are creating a simple HTTP helper, which returns a new promise with the user agent as a README bot, and then gives us the data into the body. And then next is to fetch the GitHub stats for your repository. We have a header which gives the token and then parses the repository details to the data, and then it will return the star, forks, and issues that we have. If not present, it will say could not fetch the stats, stars in 0, forks 0, and issues as 0. Next, out of the HashNode link, it will go onto the blog post. Sorry. Next, out of the HashNode link, it will fetch the latest blog post from RSS feed. It will go on /rss.xml, and then it will give out the first title and the link to that blog post. And then it will build the README content. This is the main run function that we have. First to get the stats, then get the post, and then say auto generated by GitHub Actions, do not edit manually, last updated at that time, and then say, hey, I am this is my GitHub profile, these are the stars and everything. Let's just test this. Obviously, first we have to check in here, git add, git commit -m, automating README creation process. Okay, git push origin master. Okay, go over here. We have a script present. we are automating the readme creation process. Go on to auto update readme file, and then we click on, we can directly refresh it to check if it is directly triggered or not. Okay, I'll run the workflow here. Generate and commit readme. It is waiting to start on that machine. Setting up NodeJS, fetching blog post, readme is written. Check if readme is actually changed. Okay. You see readme is already up to date, nothing to commit. Okay. Let us go into our file and check. Okay, I don't think the readme is created. But what is the issue here? Post download the repo. Reason by which it failed was I had the branches as main. I'll change it to master. I'll just add again git add get commit -m, changing branch to master, and then get post origin master. I think now it should work pretty fine. Okay, let me just try to reload it. I don't have to ping this, unpin this. Okay, changing the branch to master actions, and click on auto update readme, and then run the workflow here. I triggered it manually. Generate and commit readme. Okay, there is some issue that I am facing, that the readme is already up to date and nothing to commit. Okay, there might be some issue with the code. So what I did was, due to some issues, it was not able to check if there is any change made on that GitHub readme file. What I did is I removed that particular thing, and I directly said, okay, commit and push the updated readme. So now what if I do, if I go here, if I see, I checked it into the code, you can see that the readme is written, and it is also configuring the username at GitHub Actions bot, and then it is pushed into GitHub. Now if I come into here, you can see that the readme file is present. Okay, so this is how we actually automated the script for our entire project, wherein we are using GitHub Actions bot to auto update the readme file if there are any changes made, or if there is anything made. That is what I am doing. If you see, I'll just show you one of my GitHub actions that is performed. This is actually an actions that is performed. I'll go here and I'll show you. If you go here, there are different kind of actions that are present. One is the snake animation, one is update readme with YouTube data. If I go here and check, you can see there is that it is updating the repos readme with the recent YouTube activity. I am making an API call using the YouTube API to update the latest videos along with the thumbnails and the link of the videos on my readme repository. Okay, so this is one thing. Another thing is that snake animation that I have, generating a snake animation. This is also a snake.svg that is getting created. I obviously used another GitHub action which was present on GitHub website to implement that on my GitHub profile. So now that we have understood how we can automate the entire process of creating a readme file, a big use case for you guys would be, let's say if you are creating any project and if there is any node script that is getting used, what you can do is, using AI or using GitHub actions, you can have the entire readme getting updated if there is any file changed over there. Obviously there would be a bit of a difficult task to move with having LLMs get into that access, creating a GitHub repository, creating a GitHub readme file, or updating the docs. Many of the automations can be done here using this kind of GitHub actions. And yeah, let me know what kind of other automations that can be performed using GitHub actions. One such was obviously updating the readme file. But let me know what are your thoughts on some of the different project ideas that you can implement using GitHub actions. So yeah, this was it for the video. If you like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.